What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? It's your boy, UnclefOOlio, and I'm back, ladies and gentlemen. I am back bringing you another season of The Controversy. As always, these episodes are sponsored by Nothing But Knicks. Make sure you like and subscribe to the channel. Also, hit that notification bell to be notified of any new content, whether it be pregame, post-game coverage, breakdown videos of certain players and how the Knicks are performing this season as we continue to bring you new content for this upcoming Knicks season. I am so happy to be back, ladies and gentlemen. I'm so happy to be bringing you my controversial takes, as I always give you on the NBK pregame and postgame shows. The comments have been overwhelming. The positive comments, the negative comments. I really, really do appreciate that, and you guys are the reason that I keep going and I keep giving you my controversial takes, ladies and gentlemen. I'm so happy to be back, and I look forward to continue to do this as the Knicks continue to rebuild this roster and continue to build a winning culture and a winning program here in New York City. So I'm just want to say thank you to everyone who's shown me support. The other channels out there, Ron Cleveland, Man, JD Sports Talk, Sports Vibes TV, the Queen's Court with Queen Steph. Make sure you definitely check her out. Salute the Queen, and all the other programs out there. Die Hard Knicks, Knicks and Bruises with Tony Crow. You guys have been really instrumental in helping me build the brand and build the culture here on NBK. So I really appreciate that. Now, enough with that jargon. Let's get that out the way. I want to talk about Knicks free agency, ladies and gentlemen. Knicks free agency and what they did this offseason to finish shaping out this roster. As you all know, the Knicks had $53 million in cap space coming into this offseason with only 6 players on the roster, right? So how are the Knicks going to be able to address their needs? And we had a lot of them: starting point guard, starting wing, some people that can put the ball on the floor and put the ball in the hole to help us improve on that 41 win season from last year. And the reason why we had so much cap space is because a lot of the guys that we had on the roster last year were expiring deals, only prove-it contracts, 1-year contracts, and we were able to perform well, get to the first round of the playoffs. Didn't perform that well in the playoffs, and I'm very, very disappointed in that. I think that was a big disappointment, but still, the Knicks were able to build a little bit of a foundation with Julius Randle and R.J. Barrett and building some players to put around those guys. So really, really good what the Knicks did last season. And how are we going to be able to address those needs in free agency and the draft? As you know, the Knicks had, to me, a very, very successful draft. To me, I gave it a grade of a B+. They were able to still get 4 players in the draft, 4 quality players in the NBA draft, and still get some future assets as they, did 3 trades on draft day to address some needs and also got future assets out of it. So really, really good job with the draft with the Knicks. But the big thing is free agency, right? Free agency. The Knicks have $53 million in cap space. How are they going to be able to spend that money? Well, after day 1 of free agency, I really was not happy. I thought it was a very, very lackluster performance from the Knicks. They spent the majority of the cap space on bringing back guys back from last season and a slight upgrade in Evan Fournier. So I really, really wasn't pleased with it. I went on the Queen's Court, and as you can see right here, I just wasn't happy. Here's a couple images of myself as Steph and Sim were very, very optimistic about this roster. I just did not see that much of an improvement. Now, you can argue that Evan Fournier is an improvement over Reggie Bullock, but what we lose in defense, we get an offense, but, it's just, to me, it wasn't anything substantial for the Knicks. We sacrificed a little bit of defense to get a little bit of offense, okay, but how is that going to make us really, truly better? Evan Fournier is a solid player. I wanted to get him at the trade deadline. But in addition to what the Knicks already had, but as someone just to replace Reggie Bullock, I really felt like the Knicks could have spent that money better. I wanted DeMar DeRozan. Well, DeMar DeRozan would have been at least, he didn't bring you on defense. He could have gave you on offense and then some. The guy can close some games out for you. And what I really wanted the Knicks to do was go out and get someone that, you can take the ball out of Julius Randle's hands at the end of the game and say, go get me a bucket. To me, DeMar DeRozan would have been a better option for me than Evan Fournier. But the Knicks chose to go in a different direction. And like I said, at the end of, all of it, I really wasn't happy with it. This was the projected roster after day 1 of free agency. So, they also brought back Derrick Rose to be the starting point guard. So I just really wasn't happy with that. Derrick Rose, can Derrick Rose stay healthy? Can he play 30 to 35 minutes per game for an 82-game season? I really just felt like they, kind of dropped the ball in that aspect. But long behold, day 2, day 3 of free agency comes, and out of nowhere, shocker, the Knicks are able to acquire Kemba Walker. Kemba Walker, ladies and gentlemen. Oklahoma City bought out his $74 million contract. He had 2 years remaining and $74 million remaining on his contract, and Oklahoma City bought him out. Not only that, the Knicks were able to acquire him for $8 million a year, ladies and gentlemen. $8 million. That is big time, ladies and gentlemen. He literally saved Knick free agency. Kemba Walker saved Knick free agency, ladies and gentlemen. Not only were we able to get a starting point guard, we got him for the cheap. No one was even talking about, Kemba Walker coming into this offseason as far as players that can be picked up potentially, because his contract was deemed unmovable. He was making $27 to $30 million a year. No one was going to take on that contract, ladies and gentlemen. So no one was talking about him. He was a complete afterthought, when it came to the offseason. And the Knicks were able to, luckily, Oklahoma City was able to buy him out, and the Knicks were able to pick him up at $8 million a year. So very, very good signing right there with the New York Knicks, ladies and gentlemen. And that helped make the Evan Fournier thing okay. Because if you're not going to have a closer at the wing position, you definitely got one at the point guard position now. How many shots has Kemba Walker taken? Big shots, close in games in his college career, and in the NBA, ladies and gentlemen. So to me, the Kemba Walker signing basically saved it all and helped this Knick offseason continue to remain successful. And then the day after that, we heard the big news about Julius Randle, the Knicks signing Julius Randle to an extension. During the course of the season, we were talking about that on NBK. We were saying, can the Knicks be able to sign Julius Randle to a team-friendly extension to help us maintain flexibility moving down the road? And I personally didn't think Julius Randle was going to do it because he's literally costing himself, $50 million, at least $50 million if he would have won unrestricted free agency. So I didn't think he was going to be able to do that. I didn't think Julius Randle had it in him to take less money to help the Knicks build a winner. But he did. He did, ladies and gentlemen, and it's really, really good for this team. Now the Knicks actually have something where they put their foot in the ground and they are going to start somewhere. And it starts with Julius Randle, ladies and gentlemen. So I am extremely pleased with what the Knicks did this offseason. Now, if you look at the roster now, as it's all constructed, now you got Kemba Walker at your starting point guard, Evan Fournier at the starting 2, RJ Barrett at the 3, Julius at the 4, and perhaps Mitchell Robinson at the center position. And who knows, the Knicks may continue to do some moves. They may continue to go out and continue shopping for players. I think it's going to be over, but, who knows? The Knicks already surprised me once with this Kemba Walker signing, so they still could be looking to make some other moves as we transition into this season. So with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, listen, I really think the Knicks are really building from what they had last year. The team has definitely improved, and I think this upcoming season, I'm going to make my prediction right now. The Knicks are going to be either 4th or 5th seed in the Eastern Conference. I think they have a good enough team to be 4th or 5th seed in the Eastern Conference again. They were separated with Atlanta by, I think it was a game or like a half a game or something like that going into the playoffs last year. I think the Knicks can get back into that same position with this current roster as it's currently constructed. Of course, Kemba Walker, with him, there's always the injury concerns. Can Kemba Walker, maintain his health? He got a shot in his knee at the beginning of the season. So Boston had to, slow him down a little bit. Don't play him every game. Give him a minutes restriction. And Boston really needed him. They didn't really have a point guard. They had Marcus Smart. I think Marcus Smart was leading the team in assists for majority of the season until he got hurt, right? So, can Kemba Walker stay healthy? That's the big question. But even if he doesn't, even if, he doesn't give you, 30, 35 minutes a game, you can still spell him with Derrick Rose. And basically they can help each other. They can feed off of each other and get the Knicks back, to the promised land, which is playoffs and perhaps a second round appearance. And that's what I want to see from this team. And no question with the roster that they have right now, I believe they can do that. So kudos to the Knicks front office. I know I was very, very, upset about what they did after day one of free agency, but now I feel much better. And I'm really, really comfortable with what this team is going to be able to do moving forward. Those contracts are very much movable. The Knicks are not in play for free agency, so to speak, but there's always signing trades that the Knicks can do next season or the year after to bring in a superstar, a disgruntled superstar, so to speak. So kudos to the front office, and I look forward to what this team is going to do this season. Mark my words, I'm saying 4th or 5th seed, ladies and gentlemen, 4th or 5th seed. As always, thank you guys again for all the support that you've shown me over the past 2 years. Please put your comments in the comment section below. Let me know what you think, ladies and gentlemen. I think it's going to be a really successful season for this team, and I look forward, along with Sim and Queen's Court Steph and on all the panels on MBK, of bringing you some really good content as we cover this next season. Once again, this is UnclefOOlio, and I'm gone, ladies and gentlemen.